Hi, welcome back from break. So many of them. One at a time, please. So cute.
Line forms to the left.
Yeah, line comes to the left. Who invented standing in line? Archangel Michael. Thank you, Michael. And welcome back once again. Rakia is correct in that fashion. There are several entities who would like to speak. Remember, as let's say the vibrational sense gets among the collective of any new perceived paradigm, let's call it a phenomenon, if you will, that of channeling, as more and more, let's say, acceptable realities are put into play with an individual, i.e. Roxanne, and several of her partners in that idea bringing forth the channeling, the ones that are co-creating. The channeling phenomenon is getting larger. And as it gets larger, word spreads in that fashion, not only among the collective, but among all that is. And with this as an available idea, conduit to speak their piece in that fashion, their idea of all that is, anyone who, let's say, wishes to come in and say hello. The vibrational sense is now that of excitement, for humanity has accepted the paradigm of channeling, which only increases it as validity among the collective, only allowing more and more individuals of the collective to experience that as a reality in their own reality, private. Giving back to the human collective, increasing that phenomenon, bringing forth the new idea that is on the outskirts of channeling in and of itself, being your higher self in the 3D. Shifting personalities from the personality complex of the ego-built construct to that of all that is. Even though you might be testing the boundaries of the, let's say, ego construct, still within that is the vibrational truth, let's say, of being that. And the more, once again, you perpetuate that over and over and over again, then it will become more valid, more acceptable, more commonplace, more phenomenal, more awesome for a lot of people, until it becomes part of the human collective as a perpetuating knowing, much the same as breathing. Easy. Every single new idea that the human collective gives themselves, that goes beyond themselves, is tested always by one or a few, or whoever co-creates whatever new ability. And there are several that are always in play. It's the ones that, let's say, the collective whole allows as expansion of conscience, collective we're talking, to come in to be perceived by all. So channeling is becoming more and more acceptable all over the world. There are many thousands upon thousands times 10 to the 4th that have yet to see or even understand, let alone accept channeling as a real idea that is just not imagination, that there's something about it. However, the more of, let's say, the ascended idea, awake community, the light bearers, continue to validate this through speaking your words of validating it with no fear of public scrutiny, agreeing to the idea outside of the bounds of current construct as the mass collective, like you said, then you will see more and more easement of channeling becoming an everyday occurrence in everyday interactions wherever you are in the perceived reality of now. Now, what else is possible? Good question, Rita. Truly, what else is possible? Do any of you viewing this tape right now have a fathomable urge, that of which is unknown to you, however you, let's say, received it, most likely from your higher self and probable self, giving you that urging to at least bring it into your awareness? And as soon as you accept it as that of excitement, joy, intrigue, wonderment, then you start to act upon it in thought, word, and deed. Indeed. Then through that practicum, it becomes valid, trusted, filtering that trust through the believability of this occurrence phenomenon as a perceivable reality in continuation. Then taking that perceivable reality that you as an individual found to be loving, fun, exciting, trusting, offering it to others with no fear of public scrutiny, for that will bring in the paradigm, vibration, thank you, of fear. Then you don't get the highest version of the entity you are giving that to validate that. And if they don't, because you're looking for acceptance because of fear, ta-da, then it kind of, takes the steam out of you. You're a little disappointed. You wanted more. That's the idea that we want you to let go of. Public scrutiny is a great tool for when you walk through that wall of fear of others in acceptance. Eventually, you're going to know that you've never needed others' acceptance because they are you. And you have already accepted yourself. It is only you in separation that deems that other as an individual of that choice of valid or not. However, if they're in your reality, you co-created, we call it version 5 already. It's just your vibrational trust in yourself as the creator that pulls into your reality the highest version, getting the acceptance that you seeked in that fashion, to take that to the collective. Now you have two that, let's say, agree on it, spawning that much more truth, giving it out telepathically to the collective, and then more are drawn into your reality through your vortex. Thank you, Abraham. And then, oh yes, another comes in. Booyah. How many really watched Daryl Linka at the beginning? The first, let's say, highly regarded channel was Edgar Cayce. Not until much later. Eckhart Tolle. Not until much later. Bajor. Not until much later. But now there's enough of channelers out there that it is real. Of course it's real because you chose it to be real. Anything is real if you choose it. Filtered through the belief and trusting of that, once again, from Bashar. You're always trusting something 100% of the time. It is just what filter you're putting it through that brings it into your reality as a perceivable truth. Booyah. All right, back to me. All right. So, what else is possible? Are any of you out there in that idea of the ascended collective? The ones that are waking everybody up, the wave showers. Do you have a new idea that is pushing yourself beyond the framework that you're working within as an acceptable reality? Paying attention to the awareness that your higher selves and your other probable selves, which have mastered that idea or it wouldn't be there, ta-da! To incorporate that mastered idea into this now, to give this timeline that new idea as a vibrational truth to comprehend. And those who do not attach to it, accept it, so be it. They have no concern of yours. That is the allowance factor we have talked about, to give them their own space in the Garden of Eden, to allow them to create themselves as themselves with the tools, which is you giving them the Garden of Eden of foundational love to play within, with no scrutiny from you because you are love. So if they do not accept it, so be it. Shift to the ones that do. And if they don't, shift, because it's your truth. You will draw into you the ones that will accept it. Hence, adding another and another and another, giving them back telepathic to the collective as a new phenomenon to receive, to expand the entire collective beyond itself in this current now. We all know you can teleport. We all know, and all of you know, all you have to do is just ask yourself the question. Discernment is in place. Can we teleport? Yes. Can you teleport physically in the idea of shifting locations? Some of you, yes. As a mass, no. However, you do have the machines, the technology in place to get from here to there. No problem. That's already in play. But you want that, so you will get that because the disclosure idea is in play as well. The next 1,000 years is the next new earth. And you are on it at, let's say, ground zero. You are creating the new earth in the idea of 1,000 years in time. Will it take 1,000 years? No. All right, stand by. All right now. God, we're all just busy tonight, aren't we? The idea of 1,000 years is collapsed timeline in a cumulative timeline stacking upon each other. So in other words, when you hear the word 1,000 years, some of you say, bullshit, Ascension's happened before that. It's happening whenever you want it to, truly. However, as a collective, there are things need to be put in place because there is an overall diagram of believability as a conscience. So in that, you can collapse several timelines and stack them onto equatable idea of 1,000 and what you call Earth years. It's simple as that. Lean on time and see how flexible it is. There's no reason to validate time as down to the second, to the minute, to the hour, to the day, to the year, to the millennium, to the eon. 16.3 billion years was not linear. It was thousands of collapsed timelines on top of each other, interwoven to give you the collective now of Ascension. That's how it works. Use time as an asset. Skip-biddy-doo-dah all over the place. And remember, time is a place. It is not a time. Space-time. Did y'all miss that one? Space-time. One space, one time. If you go to the place, make sure you understand you can go to the time in that place. Ta-da! Thank you, Patricia. All right. Now that we're back in that full understanding of where we're going with this, in that 1,000 years of collapsed timelines, look at what you are going to create as the new earth. Utopia, if you will. Now, that utopia in your individual mind is your idea, whatever, which one ever, or let's say, okay, stand by. Each and every one of you have the idea of one particular reality within the reality of the new earth. Humanity living as the communion of the oneness to be realized. Each and every one of you have an individual idea. Let's take food source. You want, let's say, perfectly organic food. In that limiting term, organic. Natural is truly the circumferencing idea. Everything is organic. All right. So if that is your idea, then act upon it. Perceive it with thought. Don't fear how it's going to work. Use all the tools we've been telling you. Don't fear when or how. Just see that idea and more that have the same idea, co-creation among the soul pod, that you all have created together to bring one particular part of this new earth idea to all embrace in your new reality. Follow that and you will naturally draw into your vortex and you will find each other in that soul pod and create that piece of the puzzle. Transportation over here. Government, leaving government, becoming administrative over here. Money to become one unit of money globally. The euro was the beginning phases of that. Politicians no longer being political-aticians. They're gone. All of that is in play, but don't look for them to be gone. Look for the system in your mind that you know would work with no fear of it working. Each one of you have that. And then you will draw those into your, let's say, idea world, whether you uproot yourself or those people come to you, because now the world is going to be easy to get around, soon to be. And with the construct of, let's say, one money, one monetary system with no longer idea of success, failure, and division among classes because of the pay grade you're at, which all crumbles because no one is validated anymore. Then that new perpetuating paradigm that you are trusting will become that part of reality, this part of reality, this part. And as the merging comes into this new idea of oneness, it will have the rippling effect among the collective to where the idea becomes the 100 monkey effect, that it's just so quick, it's all of a sudden everyone goes, I have to go. And they go to this new reality. Simple as that. It's going to be that easy. But as long as you construct from your past on how it worked before, then you will recreate. Your past creates your now. Recreate that same construct upon what you put out is what you get back. The 5 laws are always in play at all times. You are always enacting one of them or more in all moments of your now. So when you put out something as a valid truth through your perpetuating trust filter system, that will reflect back to you. You are aware of how it works now. Do not fear that you are God, and you will see the results of the Godship that you are created as. Trust it. Most certainly. Time, Rita.
18 minutes.
Booyah. Any questions, entities of Ascension? Good? Wonderful. Lots to comprehend here in some fashionable way. No discouragement, no disappointment. It is up to the human collective. But in the practicum of the human collective, in allowance of you, trusting you are God, the idea of time dissipates. Therefore, the ascension is now. Booyah! This is Ocyphius once again from the Oversoul Collective Fire. Our eternal gratitude and thanks for this co-creation moment. If you have any questions, contact Roxanne at 210-605-5604 or find her on YouTube at Odyssey of Ascension. I know it's a shameless plug, but she just loves to talk. Love you. Adore. Alright, a lot of personality in that. What was going on there? Okay. Hi. Alright guys, I'll get this up. I love you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.